Across hip-hop history, there's always been a small circle of people you just don't cross. Most artists try to keep their issues quiet, slipping slick lines into tracks or handling drama behind closed doors where no cameras can catch it. That's the safe route, the respectful route, the industry-approved way to move. But then, there's a different breed of artist, the kind who treats conflict like a live show, dragging it right into the spotlight for everyone to see. These are the ones who don't whisper disses, they shout them, turning private grudges into non-stop headlines. They don't just rap about beef, they live it. Every feud becomes fire. Every rival turns into a target, and every move hits harder than the last. Right in the center of all that chaos stands 50 Cent, owning every moment. He doesn't just face his opponents, he feeds on the tension like it's pure energy. Every time he steps into a feud, it explodes. Blogs light up, interviews get wild, and the whole industry locks in to see who breaks first. And let's be honest, this wasn't just about Ja Rule. 50 didn't only outshine him, he completely stopped his momentum right when it was peaking. Their clash became the stuff of legend. It hit so hard that getting Ja Rule turned into real street slang, meaning total destruction, lyrically, publicly, and reputation-wise. That's how deep 50's impact really cuts. He didn't just win feuds, he changed the whole culture around conflict itself. When 50 Cent steps into drama, it never stays private for long. It turns into a full-blown public spectacle everyone can't stop talking about. Controversy doesn't scare him one bit. He's known for charging straight at anyone when tension fills the air, even when it cuts close to home. When things broke down between him and his son Marquise Jackson, 50 didn't hold back or try to smooth things over in private. He took it public, calling him out for being entitled and only caring about money. Fans were shocked. Most people would never air family issues like that. But with 50, nothing stays behind closed doors. It sparked one of the biggest sagas hip-hop's seen in years. It sent a loud message. When he feels crossed, there are no safe zones, no protected ties, no exceptions, not even blood. But now, 50 Cent might have just dropped his most explosive shot yet. This time, his aim is locked on one of his longest-running and most powerful rivals, Sean Combs, better known as Diddy or Puff Daddy. Once praised as an untouchable giant in music and business, Diddy's name used to carry major weight across the whole industry. Lately, though, that image has shattered wide open. Allegations, lawsuits, and non-stop headlines have flipped everything upside down. 50's been watching from the sidelines, waiting for the perfect moment to strike, and when he does, it's precise and cold-blooded. Now, Diddy's downfall has turned into one of hip-hop's biggest, messiest sagas in years. What once looked untouchable is now completely broken. His image didn't just take a hit, it collapsed for the whole world to see. The man once praised for legendary business moves, flashy living, and industry power is now sinking deep in controversy. The glow is gone, the respect's shaky, and his legacy is twisting fast. Over time, plenty have tried to explain the fall of Sean Combs through interviews, talk shows, and endless doc-style deep dives. Some projects exposed rumors, tangled relationships, and a lifestyle that had people raising eyebrows. There were stories so wild they barely sounded real. Secret beefs, strange behavior, and behind-the-scenes chaos that kept fans talking nonstop. Nothing has hit as hard as the brand new 4-part Netflix series setting the internet on fire. Sean Combs, The Reckoning. This project's being called the most damaging deep dive into Diddy's world yet. And what makes it sting even more, it was executive produced by 50 Cent himself. This isn't just another recap, it's a surgical strike, a calculated breakdown built to expose everything piece by piece. The series walks through every chapter of Diddy's life, stacking moments like puzzle pieces snapping into place. Each section gets tighter, darker, and louder, all circling back to the storm surrounding him right now. The storytelling hits sharp. It's emotional, tense, and packed with moments that smack you out of nowhere. From the first frame to the last, it keeps you glued in, stacking shock on top of shock. This isn't just another documentary. It's one of the most powerful and cleanly built ones to drop in years. What makes it hit even harder is how it fuses old scandals with fresh chaos, clearly showing how Diddy's world slowly unraveled and how his past keeps crashing into his present no matter how far he runs. Honestly, it's one of the best documentaries to drop in a long time. But before breaking down every explosive scene in this Netflix hit, you gotta rewind and see how this feud between 50 Cent and Diddy even began. From day one, 50 stepped into the game ready for war. He wasn't easing in or playing nice, he was coming for everyone. Back in 1999, his track How to Rob lit the fuse. He called out some of the biggest names in hip-hop, including Diddy, without a single ounce of hesitation. That song wasn't just a diss, it was a warning shot. It showed the whole world that 50 feared no one. Not power, not status, not even industry giants. And all this happened before one of hip-hop's most infamous moments, the day 50 was shot 9 times and lived to tell the tale. That moment changed everything, turning him into something unbreakable, one of the toughest figures the rap game has ever seen. That near-death experience didn't just change 50's life, it rewired his entire being. The shooting wasn't just an event, it was a transformation that rebuilt his whole identity. It even stamped his voice forever, giving it that deep, gritty tone fans recognized instantly. His sound shifted, his vibe got darker, and his music became heavier, raw, and painfully real. From that point on, 50 Cent wasn't just another rapper on the come-up, he became a living symbol of survival and strength. His story inspired millions who saw him as proof that getting knocked down doesn't mean staying down. By the early 2000s, 50 finally crossed paths with Sean Combs, and that meeting opened up a whole new chapter in their complicated story. According to 50, during that time, he was actually ghostwriting for Puff, crafting hooks and lines behind the scenes that later showed up in Diddy's music. And this wasn't just talk, it's been backed up publicly, including by former Bad Boy and Def Jam artist Shine, who confirmed that 50 really was involved creatively. That revelation made fans rethink everything. Before the tension, before the lyrical shots, there was real creative overlap. But here's where things twisted. Shine, the same guy who confirmed the ghostwriting, later ended up in his own feud with 50, even accusing him of being a federal informant at one point. And just like that, old connections flipped into brand new conflicts. Back when all this first started, 50 was still buzzing heavy around New York, while Shine was one of Sean Combs' main artists under Bad Boy Records. According to 50 Cent, that was the same time he wrote Diddy's verse on the track Let's Get It, something he didn't reveal until 2 years later. He exposed it on his Guess Who's Back mixtape with the track Not Like Me, dropping a slick bar that turned heads everywhere. Their hobby like 50, you so witty on the D, like they heard I ghostwrite for P. Diddy. And that line did exactly what it was meant to do. It shook the room and got everyone talking. But 50 didn't stop there. Later that same year, he threw another playful jab on the Bad Boys 2 soundtrack, ironically produced by Diddy himself, rapping, "I run the city and I don't dance around like Diddy." At first, the tension still felt light, more like teasing than real hostility. But that all changed when 50 started noticing behavior that didn't sit right with him. He later told a story from early in his career. Diddy once offered to take him shopping, and it totally caught him off guard. 50 joked that it felt like something a man would do to try to impress someone, and that moment stuck with him. It raised questions, planted doubt, and quietly marked the start of a deeper, stranger rift between them, one that only got worse with time. 50 later joked that he saw that whole moment as Diddy testing the waters, like he was quietly checking boundaries, seeing how far he could push before getting a reaction. He even compared it to Diddy dipping his toes in baby oil, a slick metaphor 50 used to hint that Puff was feeling out the situation, watching closely to see how he'd react to that unexpected offer. That comment instantly turned into one of those weird stories that added more mystery to Diddy's behavior and gave fans even more to argue about online. Not long after 50's words started stirring the internet, Diddy finally clapped back, but he did it his way, with that trademark cool confidence. Instead of firing back with anger, he laughed it off, mixing humor with a little swagger, acting like none of it fazed him one bit. But that calm act didn't cool things down at all. If anything, it just made people talk more, adding another layer to the strange tension brewing between them. By the mid-2000s, 50 Cent wasn't just a rapper anymore. He was a global powerhouse. His rise looked unstoppable. He was topping charts worldwide, dropping hit after hit, and proving his grip on the culture was unshakable. At that point, he had stacked multiple #1 singles and over 20 top 10 hits, locking in his spot as one of the most dominant names in music. And it didn't stop there. Endorsement deals, sponsorships, and business ventures were rolling in nonstop, turning 50 into more than a musician. He was a full-on empire in motion. 50 wasn't just making music anymore, he was building a full-blown empire. From his business moves to his music dominance, 50 had officially become one of the biggest stars on the planet. His influence wasn't limited to hip-hop, it stretched deep into culture, money, and power. It was clear early on that 50 Cent wasn't built like most rappers in the game. He moved differently, thought differently, and planned way ahead of the curve. While other artists stayed stuck just making records, 50 was playing chess, not checkers. His business mindset was razor sharp, setting him apart from almost everyone, except maybe Eminem, who shared that same unstoppable drive. 50 launched his own label, built a clothing line, and made smart investments that hit big. He even stacked up real stock positions, thinking like an executive instead of just an artist. He wasn't chasing fame, he was building ownership. Every move proved that 50 wasn't playing the rap game, he was controlling it. And to some, it started looking like 50 had everything Sean Combs ever wanted: the fame, the power, the respect, both from the streets and under the bright lights. Fans saw him as a megastar, women saw him as a full-on icon, and the streets respected him as someone who earned it the hard way. That rare mix of toughness and magnetism made 50 feel unstoppable. And for someone like Diddy, who always wanted to dominate both worlds, that had to sting, even just a little. Watching the documentary now, it's crystal clear why Sean Combs might have felt some real envy toward 50 Cent. Even though Diddy was already one of the biggest moguls in the game, 50 had something money could never buy: a raw, magnetic presence. When he walked into a room, people felt it instantly. He didn't have to talk loud or flex heavy. His energy alone demanded respect. Yeah, Diddy had the fame, the fortune, and the influence, but that untouchable street aura mixed with global dominance, that was something he could never fully recreate. It's easy to see how that contrast might have rubbed him the wrong way. By 2005, 50 had locked in heavyweight status across the whole industry. His success wasn't just about his own chart runs anymore. Artists at every level were lining up to join G-Unit Records, hoping to be part of something unstoppable. During an interview on The Howard Stern Show, 50 dropped a wild behind-the-scenes story involving Mahe. According to him, Mahe was ready to sign with G-Unit until Diddy stepped in. 50 claimed Diddy demanded $2 million just to release Mahe from his Bad Boy Records contract. That crazy price tag killed the deal instantly. And just like that, it turned into another explosive moment that deepened the rift between 50 and Diddy. The tension wasn't just personal anymore, it was echoing through the entire industry. After the situation with Mahe fell apart, things between them were never quite the same. The energy flipped quick, the tension got real, and the gloves came all the way off. The feud dove into darker territory fast. 50 Cent stopped holding back and went straight for the jugular, stirring controversy like never before. He began publicly suggesting connections between Sean Combs and the murder of the notorious B.I.G., one of the boldest, most shocking claims ever made in hip-hop history. The entire culture froze when those words dropped, because that wasn't rap beef anymore. That was sacred ground. What made it even more chilling was that, over time, reports and interviews started hinting that Diddy and Biggie's relationship might not have been as solid behind the scenes as fans always thought. On the surface, it looked like pure loyalty and brotherhood. But according to different accounts, things were a lot more complicated than anyone knew. 50's comments poured gasoline on an already burning fire. The feud stopped being playful. It turned personal, deep, and tied straight into legacy, history, and all the unanswered questions that still haunt hip-hop. Then came 2006, when 50 dropped a track called The Bomb. Once again, he showed he wasn't afraid to shake the room. The record hit hard, packed with sharp bars, heavy energy, and that signature warning shot tone. Every verse felt deliberate, every line reminded the world that 50 was still a dangerous force in the game. And just when the track seemed done, he dropped an outro jab that caught everyone off guard. Classic 50, always making sure the last word hit the hardest. A statement meant to linger. This wasn't just music anymore, it was a message meant to hit loud and clear. By this point, it was obvious that 50 Cent wanted nothing to do with Sean Combs or the flashy image he stood for. He had officially jumped off the Diddy hype train and started calling things out in ways almost no one else had the guts to. 50 didn't sugarcoat a thing. He straight up suggested that Diddy might have had some level of responsibility connected to the death of the notorious B.I.G., a rumor that had been quietly floating through the industry for years. He made it clear he believed Diddy had been moving strange long before most people were willing to see it. Looking back now, it feels like 50 was way ahead of his time, spotting cracks in Diddy's polished public image nearly 2 decades early. While everyone else was busy staying on his good side, showing up at parties, flashing smiles for cameras, and playing along with the glamorous lifestyle, 50 was in the shadows, writing diss tracks, plotting his next move, and playing chess instead of checkers. But the feud didn't stop at the music. It spilled right into the business world. Diddy was busy pushing his vodka brand Ciroc, trying to dominate the liquor game and keep his image untouchable. Meanwhile, 50 launched Effin' Vodka, stepping boldly into Diddy's lane, and of course, he couldn't resist taking shots. 50 started clowning Ciroc, calling it Puffy Juice. Mocking the branding and the whole image behind it, 50's nickname caught fire instantly. Fans ran with it, social media blew up, and just like that, the rivalry had a brand new battlefield. That joke turned into yet another viral moment in their never-ending feud, and as always, 50 didn't stop at laughs. He took it even further, bragging that his vodka was on a completely different level than Diddy's. According to 50, Effin' Vodka had a smoother, cleaner taste because it was made from wheat, a detail he loved to throw in whenever he could. Meanwhile, he kept clowning Ciroc, calling it Puffy Juice, and mocking that it was made from grapes instead. Classic 50, turning straight-up business competition into another loud, hilarious, and savage chapter in his war with Sean Combs. By this point, everything had been dragged into the spotlight. Music clashes, business rivalries, and even those weird shopping stories. But many people started to believe there was something deeper fueling 50's nonstop pressure. And this time, it was personal. In recent years, Daphne Joy has become a key part of the story. She's a model and actress, and also 50's former girlfriend, as well as the mother of his youngest child. The two were together from around 2011 to 2012, but their relationship fell apart not long after their child was born. The breakup wasn't smooth. It came with legal disputes and serious accusations on both sides, adding yet another emotional twist to an already messy saga. Some claims were later dismissed, but the whole situation left deep tension that never really faded. Fast forward nearly a decade to 2021, and that old history suddenly roared back into the spotlight, dragging Diddy right into the middle of it. Then everything went fully public. Photos started surfacing of Daphne Joy spending time with Sean Combs. Luxury trips, private moments, and flashy scenes that blew up all over social media. That's when 50 Cent launched one of his most ruthless trolling streaks ever. He reposted a photo of Diddy and Daphne together, writing, "Nah, me and Puff fight over business. If he liked the girl, he liked the girl, I don't care." Classic 50, cool on the surface, but sharp underneath. But he wasn't done yet. Not long after, 50 posted another photo, this time with his son, joking, "Oh snap, that's your mommy over there with Puffy. These women be wild." The internet exploded. It was peak 50 behavior, turning something personal into viral entertainment while keeping the feud loud and impossible to ignore. By this point, 50 had been side-eyeing Diddy for over 2 decades. He'd always felt something was off about him, even when everyone else stayed quiet. So while 50 acted like he didn't care publicly, that situation had to hit deep. Because seeing the mother of your child spending time with your longtime rival isn't just awkward, it's personal on a whole different level. Even for someone as unshakable as 50, watching all that unfold had to hit deep. Especially after years of openly distrusting Diddy. Things exploded even further when serious legal filings against Diddy surfaced. In March of last year, music producer Rodney Jones filed a lawsuit against Sean Combs, making disturbing claims about behind-the-scenes misconduct, allegations that haven't been proven in court but still sent shockwaves through the entire industry. Suddenly, everything 50 had been hinting at for years was back under a harsh spotlight. In that lawsuit, Daphne Joy was named among several women who were allegedly receiving monthly payments from Diddy, with claims suggesting those payments were tied to bringing others into his circle. Allegedly. To be clear, these are just claims, and no one besides Diddy himself has faced any formal charges. Even with the non-stop pressure and headlines, Diddy has denied any wrongdoing, and many accusations are still unresolved in court. When the news broke, reports focused on the ongoing legal fights and potential consequences, not any final verdicts. But that didn't stop 50 Cent from diving straight into the chaos. His reaction was pure 50, loud, bold, and impossible to miss. He hit social media hard, firing off a wave of posts aimed at both Diddy and Daphne, including one viral message where he wrote, "I didn't know you liked that. Your life really looks like a movie. You moved close hoping for another chance, but I was busy. So you went back and started getting money from Brother Love." And of course, he wasn't done. Not long after, 50 appeared on stage with Nicki Minaj, and before walking off, he threw in another public jab, keeping attention locked on Diddy's growing scandals and making it clear that the feud was far from over. Behind the scenes, though, things got even heavier. While the internet watched the drama unfold, 50 made a major move. He filed for full custody of his son, Sire Jackson, claiming that Daphne's alleged involvement in situations tied to Diddy created an unsafe environment for their child. That's when the feud stopped being just public. It crossed into courtrooms, custody battles, and real-life consequences that couldn't be ignored anymore. Daphne Joy fired back immediately, calling 50's claims complete lies and firmly denying any link to the accusations or illegal activity. She made it clear she wasn't backing down, and the back and forth turned ugly fast. But by then, it was obvious. This wasn't just about rap beef, business competition, or chart positions anymore. This was personal. 50 was fighting to protect his family while watching the empire of his longtime rival crack from the inside out. A lot of people believe that's exactly why 50 doubled down on exposing Diddy's past. Instead of just trolling online, he poured his energy into executive producing the Netflix documentary Sean Combs' The Reckoning. The series lays out alleged manipulation, shady power moves, and a darker side of Diddy for a global audience to see. It doesn't rely on flash. It stacks timelines, testimonies, and patterns in a way that feels heavy and impossible to ignore. At this point, 50's mission looked crystal clear. He wasn't chasing revenge anymore. He wanted the world to see Diddy without the filters. No flashy image, no luxury mask, just raw claims laid bare for everyone to judge. And 50 didn't just slap his name on the project, he helped bring it to life. Behind the scenes, he connected producers with insiders who had stayed silent for years. People who'd been scared of backlash or fallout, but with 50 backing the project, they finally felt safe to speak, and that cosign carried real weight. It showed just how far 50 was willing to go to make sure every hidden story finally came to light. For years, people brushed off the baby oil jokes and wild stories, thinking it was just 50 trolling. But the Netflix doc Sean Combs' The Reckoning proved there was way more underneath. It peeled back decades of alleged power moves, betrayal, and manipulation tied to Diddy's rise to fame. The film shows a darker side, a story about ego, control, and what happens when power goes unchecked. What was supposed to be Diddy's comeback turned into his reckoning, a full-blown collapse of his carefully built image. If you haven't seen it yet, the 4-part Netflix series Sean Combs' The Reckoning is a must-watch. It's raw, intense, and impossible to ignore. And if you think this story was wild, the next breakdown goes even deeper, with new names, shocking receipts, and twists nobody saw coming. Like, share, and subscribe to The Low Key Line. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Did 50 go too far, or was he exposing the truth the world needed to see? Stay tuned. The next drop is gonna be crazy.